Well, I have to do my fake verdict video again because it was too long. So I'll try and rattle through it. I discovered an article in 2023 that was written by somebody with much more intelligence than the disabled housewife that I am. It is written by a professor, doctor, engineer in 2004, an intelligent man. I'm guessing he was duped by the legal system because they don't like intelligent people. They also don't like disabled people and they prey on weakness. He has collected a number of requirements for the validity of verdicts. I didn't know there were laws that determine what requirements have to be met with and that determine if these requirements are not met with, the verdict has no legal force. So he gives a lot of details. I hope you can see it. I am sorry for the unprofessional presentation, but I'm a boomer in order to learn how to properly present it. It would take me a week. I wouldn't mind. I like learning new things, but I don't have the time because I'm going to be murdered this week. So he gives definitions. Hope you can read them. The things that are most important that stood out to me in my matters is the requirements for the signature. He says a stamp or initials are definitely not a signature, and a statement that the appeal was automatically generated or a copy is not a valid deed, is not a valid official document. Then he says stamping and or signing on the back of a deed or on another page does not give the deed any legal force. And then he gives a few more requirements. I never got any minutes of the hearing, which is required. If they are missing, the deed has no legal force, and mine were always missing because there were no real proceedings. I just got counterfeit documents. So then he has another number of things that are complicated, and if you have a decision that is too obviously fake, then it's also invalid because there is a crime involved, crime of impostoring and forgery, and it is falsely formatted. So these are the requirements that I found, and then I looked back at all the verdicts I got since 2013, and I did not find even one valid verdict. These are the verdicts by the Supreme Court, at least pretendedly by the Supreme Court, on the tax doings, the deadly tax doings, where they refuse to give you mandatory refunds in order to prevent paying your mortgage installment, so they can steal the house and make a lot of money and make you lose your rights that depend on the residence. That is everything that is essential for survival. You lose your right to state pension, you lose your right to health care, to bank account, to insurances, you name it. So this is Supreme Court, this is the tax department, this arrest means a decision. Here is where the text ends, here. The verdict, the autographs should be here, but they're not. They're on a separate page, which already makes this an invalid verdict. And they are not even stamps, they are copies. You can tell because I got this same thing with a different stamp and a different number. I got the same thing multiple times. Here you see another one. This is where the text ends. These are the same copies, also on a separate page. Another one. Same copies on a separate page. So these are all invalid. Then we get a more difficult one. Here we see the autographs under the text as they should be, but they are copies. How can you tell they are copies? Because this is inked, this is authentic. But a stamp that does not make the decision valid, and this anonymous paragraph could be from the canteen lady. It also does not change the fact that it is an invalid verdict. We get another one like that. It was sent accidentally twice. And that's how you can determine that these are just, again, copied autographs. You can tell because here we get the same principal stamp, which is actually a copied stamp. And we have a paragraph by the possible canteen lady. Then we get the second that was sent is exactly copied. And then we get again a paragraph by the canteen lady. That is a genuine paragraph because it's slightly different from the other one. It's by the same person, but it's slightly different, as you can see. So all these tax decisions are invalid. Then the decisions in the highest court about my deportation from my native country, Netherlands, also the native country of my entire ancestry as far as we know it. I was deported from my own country, chased out, however you wanna call it. This is from the Raad van State, highest court in this matter. Here is where the text ends. Here, there's no autographs. You see them on a separate page again, and this is a standard copy with names, but not even autographs. But because we, the people, don't know all these things, we take this at face value, and we think it is a genuine verdict. That's what I thought. Second appeal on the same deportation matter, same court. Longer story. This is where the text ends, and here we get a similar thing, a copied standard text without autographs. Only the date is changed. We now go to the verdicts on my appeal against the fraud with my official address in the official registry, which is called the RNI registry. I found out about it in 2021, and I notified the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I thought they were the competent instance, but the Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent me a fax. Here you have it, where they state they are not the competent authority. I have to go somewhere else. But my Dutch counterfeiter killer did not know they were not authorized, so he faked a letter on stationery of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the wrong ministry, without autograph. And he stated, "Thank you for your interesting letter. Unfortunately, we cannot register you at your correct address because the European Court of Human Rights in 2019 has made a statement that we can use to not register you." And I found out about the fraud in 2021, so this is really miraculous, obviously written by my cyberkiller. To block correct registration. It is insane that I had to go to the highest court to try for a registration at my correct address. This is again Raad van State. This is a recycled verdict. It has two numbers, so it's also used to kill somebody else. This is again the same court as in the deportation matter. Here's where the text ends. Here, and here we get the exact same copy, same names, no autograph, different date. That's the only thing that has changed, and the numbers and the header. Now, why did he do this? Because I later found out only in 2024 that he had been sending decisions to the wrong address where I had no access to prevent I could appeal the deadly decisions. That's the reason why he didn't want me registered at my correct address. Here's the second decision by the same court on the same matter. This is where the text ends. Here, only one line on the entire page. And again, we get the same copies without autographs. Then we get the last one is on my current murder by starvation by the termination of my disability pension. I don't think you can read it, but I'll give it a go. I'm sorry, I can't do better at the moment or any time likely. The bottom line is that he doesn't mention the measure that is killing me. He doesn't mention in this long, elaborate story, he doesn't anywhere mention her superannuation had been terminated. He doesn't mention it. That is proactive file fixing, because if there would be an investigation, nobody would know really what it's about. He also doesn't mention, he just states, me, the killer, under the alias of the judge and under the alias of the pension funds, me, the killer, declare this murder justified. He doesn't give a reason why he declares it justified, because he keeps replacing the pretenses. If you kick one out in appeal or in any statement or whatever, he changes the pretense. So to not have to change the verdict all the time, he can now change the pretense because no reason is given. This is the original counterfeit document where you see the autographs under the text, but they are copies. It's also confirmed that it is a copy because he wants to create fake controversy. He wants to elicit a discussion so that he can continue the measure under the pretense there has to be a discussion, because he suggests by this new trick there is a authentic decision in the court registry that I have no access to. But by the rules, by the strict rules, this is an invalid verdict. He uses the name, the autograph of the judge who in May ordered the payments resumed, and he replaced her verdict with this counterfeit verdict in September. That's what he did. These are technical details, and this is how he, because March and April were not paid, and in May the judge said has to be paid. May and June were paid. In July he terminated my pension again. So I would be expected to argue there is another verdict, because March and April were not paid, and then May and June were paid because of the verdict. So he tries to obfuscate the verdict by hacking into my bank account and forging numbers that are not payments, just numbers, into my bank account on the wrong payment dates to give the impression that March and April were paid. He adds extra money to the payments because he steals this money over 2 months. He steals it, so he gives himself a bit extra. Because it's pretended he paid to me, I cannot prove it was not, so he can steal it. This is the payment dates. They are official dates that are just, he didn't know that. These are the things that I wanted to show you. None of these verdicts is valid, not only because of the verdicts are invalid, also because of the crimes involved, the malice involved, and the fact that every one of the decisions I have shown can only lead to death. They can only have deadly consequences. They cannot have any other consequences in the end. They are all death sentences. And that is also why they are invalid. But my killer uses these templates and these forged documents, these replacement documents, as murder weapons. That is what he does. And because you are behind the cyberwall, what can you do? What can you do?